Okay, now I'm ready. Welcome to Yoga Hour. Sit up nice and tall on your yoga mat. Take a moment to turn your gaze low. Close your eyes. Let your arms rest along the legs. Bring attention and awareness to your breath. The word of the day is nourishing. For the month of March in the BU Hub, the mantra is healthy habits nourish me. So as we come on these last few days of March, specifically looking at nourishment. Nourish yourself through the bigness of your breath, the small whisper behind every exhale, the bigness of strong standing warrior poses, the humbling poses as well, perhaps seated, folded in. Where do you find all the different shades of nourishment through this practice? Tuck your chin down to the chest. Start to rock from side to side, right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Just back and forth here a few times. And then keep chin down to the chest. Let's add the hands behind the head. Give a little push of the head into the hands. Feel your length down the back side from top of the shoulders to the tailbone. Fill up in your strength on the front side. Draw navel towards the spine. And then release the hands, lift the head. Take your time to open the eyes. And let's come over to all fours. In all fours, hands under the shoulders, knees underneath our hips. Cat pose, press down through the hands and the knees and round your back. And just stay here in cat pose for a few breaths. Continually relaxing the head a bit more, while at the same time, that careful pressing down in the hands and knees so that you rise up and feel more strength and steadiness in the belly. Take one more breath like this in cat pose. And then start to move back and forth, cat and cow. Pull the chest forward, eyes and tailbone through. And then again, press through the hands, round the back, drop the head. Okay, you keep going like this, cat and cow. Feel free to take it at your own pace. Add in the little extras that feel right for you. On the next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Pull the knees all the way together and turn the hands around so that your fingers face towards the knees. Lift your right leg up and back. Point out to the toes. Squeeze the inner thigh more towards the midline of the body. Hug it in. Look a little bit forward to expand the chest. And then do just 5 little tiny pulses higher on the right leg. Just a Nice little opening warm up in the glutes and hamstrings there. And then set the right leg down and do the same on the second side. Left leg up and back, point all the way out to the toes so that we get the muscles engaged from the hip to the toe. Add in the little pulses. While we're warming up the hamstrings, we're also warming up wrist and forearms here with that change of the hands. Set the left knee down, carefully turn the hands back around. Downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift your hips, big full stretch here. Press your hands evenly down and forward, make your arms straight and strong. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in. A healthy, nourishing hug there, shoulder blades onto the back, and breathe more, stretch more. Lower the knees back down to the mat. Sit back on your heels. Interlace the hands. Flip the palms. Lift the arms up to the sky. Push through your thumb, your first finger, a lot. This is our Yoga Hour sequence 3 we've been working on throughout the month. Take the hands behind your back now. Interlace. Squeeze the elbows in towards each other, and then stretch the arms straight again. Release, come to all fours. Plank pose, so just walk the legs straight back, be on your toes or on your knees. Find your fullest plank pose, what feels the best to you right now. Hold here at the top of your plank for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lie flat down onto your mat. Take the hands back behind you, palms up to the sky. Lift everything that you can up away from the mat. Squeeze your thighs towards each other, your heels in towards each other, and lift just a little bit higher. And then exhale, release down, right cheek to the mat. Just release. One more breath in that release. And then a second time, same thing, hands back, or this time interlace the hands behind the back. Ready? Lift up. Lift, lift, lift. Lift as much from the thighs rather than just the feet. And then release. Left cheek to the mat, arms relax. Let it be, head down. And then change. Press back to child's pose. We're into downward facing dog. Okay, let's get into our lunges. Look in between your hands and step your right foot forward into a nice long, low lunge. Hands can be on either side or both to the inside of the foot. Even climb the hands up onto blocks if you'd like. And then here I just want you to rock back and forth a little bit. Straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Just gonna get a little bit of movement, like oiling up the legs, the joints. Stay in your low lunge now. Keep left fingertips to the ground and reach your right arm up to the sky. Twisted or revolved low lunge. Try lifting your back leg a little bit higher, spreading out towards that left hip. And then lower the right hand down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Each time the option to hold plank there or add a push-up, down and up. And then downward facing dog. And we do the second side. Step the left foot forward. Take your time, find the stride, and then the movement. Just rock a little bit back and forth here. Clearing, opening a little bit of space. Get into the nooks and crannies. And then stay in your low lunge. Right fingertips, and I do say fingertips if you can stay a bit lifted, it'll help you get more room all the way up to the top as you reach the left arm high. Twist here. Pull left hip back in space and keep the right thigh higher to create and keep the opening across the low back. And then lower the left hand back down, step it back, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank pose. Stay in plank or add the push-up. Everyone downward facing dog. Walk your hands backwards to your feet. Once more here, we'll interlace the hands behind your back. Stay in a squat position and lift your arms up towards the sky. So sit low into the legs as best you can. As you lift the arms up, if you're like me, the hands start to separate. That's okay, they can. Do your best. One more breath. And next inhale, stand all the way up. Lift the arms to the sky. Interlace the hands again here. Send thumb and first finger high. Tallest of towers. Push down into your right foot and lean towards the left. Keep pushing your right foot more down into the mat. Point your left toes out to the side. Maybe even lift your left leg off of the floor. And then 2 feet back together. Push down a lot into the left foot. Sway the arms over towards the right side. Point the right toes out to the side, maybe even pick up the foot, play with it. 2 feet together, arms straight up to the sky. Separate the arms now. Take them shoulder height, straight out in front of you. Go back into chair pose. Nice low chair pose. Look down at your knees. Look towards your thighs, in fact. Round the back. Arms straight out. Still one line from the shoulders to the hands if possible. Trying to frame around your ears. You've got this. And stand up again all the way high. Can you keep the arms lifted just like so and take your right foot into tree pose? So the challenge is keep the arms up and see where the foot lands. Knee out to the side, toes down to the floor. Keep the arms as is, lower the leg, lift the second side. So sometimes I hike that knee as high as I can and then see where the foot falls, above or below the knee. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. Tone in your abdomen. We've got this. Nicely done. Lower the leg. Now you get to lower the arms and give it just a good little shake out. Hands to your hips. Look towards the top edge of your yoga mat. Everyone, let's step our right foot forward. Big step. And then wiggle it out until it's your full stride. High lunge. Lift the arms up. That sense of power, strength, fullness, nourishing our bodies, our minds, our souls right here in a high lunge. Lift the hips 2 inches higher than where you are now so that it's a little easier to spin the back heel down. Open up to warrior 2. So you really fully draw open the back hip, line up shoulders over the hips, but gaze forward over your front fingertips still. Can you settle in your power? Can you breathe here, stay here, feel nourished here? Lower the hands now around the front foot. Step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. You know the drill. It's a push-up or a hold of plank. You do the one that's nourishing and full to you in this practice, this moment. From downward facing dog, everyone bend your knees and walk your hands backwards to your feet. Hands to your hips, point the elbows up to the sky, push down into your feet and stand up. Again, look towards the front of the mat and take a giant step. Leap. Left foot forward. Square it off. Lift the arms, high lunge. Where's your breath taking you here? Full inhale, complete exhale every time. So rather than being at the lowest point in your pose, I want you to lift out of it a little bit to be able to safely turn, open, set down the right heel, and then you're in warrior two. Maybe go a little deeper as you expand, as you take the time in this pose. Gaze out over your front fingertips. We often use that little gaze down at the floor to broaden the front knee so that you can see your big toe. The result of that being the result of lengthening and opening from the inner thigh a little bit more. Okay, let's cartwheel our arms down. Step back, down dog. Inhale forward, plank pose. Stay or push up. Everyone downward facing dog. In this downward facing dog, now lift your right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Lift, 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 open the hips. Just let the leg find length, find freedom in the lift. Now change, pull the knee in towards the chest, hover forward in plank. And step it all the way through. Spin the back heel down, lining up heel to heel, or front heel to the middle of the back foot. Warrior one, place the hands to the waist. As you lift your torso up, keep rooting down through the back outer edge of the left foot. And now, arms up to the sky. Can you deepen the bend in the front knee and the front thigh while keeping all of the strength and commitment to the back leg? I always find the most nourishment in a balanced practice. Doesn't need to be big, crazy, and wild poses. Just how do I stay in the center? One more breath like this. And now bring your left hand to your waist. Drop your left hand further towards the left leg. All I want you to change is your focus. Eyes up to the sky here. As you look up, maybe lean back just a little bit in this warrior one form of reverse warrior. Some folks call this exalted warrior. Lift, lift, lift to the open skies. And then lower the hands around the front foot. Step it back to plank. Hold or push up, downward facing dog. We have the opportunity for a second side. Lift the left leg up. And then lift it a little higher. And then ask, is there a little bit more? Okay, change it up. Pull your knee into your chest. Hover forward. And step through. Spin the back heel down. Turn the back toes in a good 70 degrees. So my back big toe is facing towards the front corner of my yoga mat. And then As you lift the torso, anchor back fully into the right leg. Lift both arms up to the sky. I'm staying looking straight ahead for this version of Warrior One. Bring the right hand to your waist, and then drop the right hand further back to try to find like the back of your thigh. Now look up towards the sky. As you look up, can you take your left hand a little bit up and back, which brings the whole line of the torso from the hip to the hand moving together for your reverse warrior. Okay, let's breathe it out. Take the hands back down to the front foot. Step it all the way back to plank. Add in one more push-up here. And everyone downward facing dog. Walk your feet a little bit forward and your hands a little bit back so we end up in the middle of our yoga mats. Fingertips to the floor, enough bend in the knees that that's doable. And then keeping your legs about that straight, about that much bend, bring the hands to your hips. Most of your weight in the right leg, tap the left foot back behind you. Squeeze the hips more in, compact, and extend the arms straight out in front of you. This is the bottom of our Warrior Three stance. Stay here, or keep going with me. Lift the left leg up. Lift the left leg as high as you can towards the line of the waist. Think of that tiger tail that we did at the very beginning, where we really hug the muscles to the bone point all the way out to the toes. And can you lift the left leg higher 5 times? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back. Tap your toe down. 2 feet together. Full fold over. Uttanasana. Fingertips to the ground. Make the legs as straight as they'll go. Give it a couple of breaths here. And then we take it all into the second side. So again, a little bend in both knees. Bring the hands to the waist. As you do that, already stronger in the abdomen. Keep your left foot as it is. Shift the weight so that the right toes can tap back behind you. Arms straight out in front. This is a lot to ask. We're doing great stabilization work in the hip joint in particular. You stay and work here or lift the right leg up, up, up. Think inner thigh higher towards the sky. Squeeze it in towards the midline of the body and let's lift it higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've done it. Hands back, foot back. Uttanasana again, standing forward fold. Think more like ragdoll pose now here. So a very steady bend in the knees. Hold on to your elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. When you've had enough there, let's go to downward facing dog. Hands forward again and feet back. Transitioning here to a wide-legged forward fold. It doesn't really matter which foot you step forward. Step one foot into your low lunge and then spin so that you come to the long edge of your mat in a wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands towards the line of your feet and your head down towards the floor. Now there's a few different ways to look at this pose. Are you looking for the most nourishment and stretching through the back, the legs and hamstrings, low back here safely? You might want a more narrow stance. If you're like, nah, I want to get that head down towards the floor or closer, take the feet into a wider stance because then, of course, there's less room, there's less length for you to have to cover from the hips to the floor. And it might feel really grounding to have the head close to or on the yoga mat. Find your version of wide-legged forward fold as Prasarita Padottanasana here for a few more breaths. Lift up on the kneecaps, tone in your quads to get the safe, steady stretch down the back of the leg muscles. Safely come out of the pose. I like to walk my hands forward, more under the line of the shoulders, bend the knees, and like hands to thighs to help me come all the way up. Whatever feels right to you. Come up nice and steady. Heel toe and shake out the legs. Fingertips together. Can we take our big Iyengar, jump out so we do a little bend in the knees and jump wide. Excellent. Turn your right toes out. Left toes stay straight ahead or turn them a little bit in towards the front foot. That makes things a bit more doable for triangle pose here. Lean as far as you can to the right. And then fingertips to your shin. A yoga block, if you're using it, or down to the ground on the inside edge of your leg. Lift the top arm up to the sky. Gaze to the side or even look up here. Push down and out through your feet. Use your breath to nourish the pose. Inhale, like you're holding onto a rope with that top hand. Let it lift you all the way back upright. Switch sides. Turn your back foot all the way forward or a little bit in, and your front foot all the way out. Extend the arms in either direction. Lean as far as you can to the left now. Fingertips to your leg or the floor, top arm to the sky. We're doing our best to create a line from the top hip out to the top of the head. So it's not lean forward or back. It's a nice long line from hip to head. Inhale, come all the way back upright. Turn your toes parallel to one another. One more time, wide-legged forward fold here. Okay, look towards the top edge of your yoga mat, and we'll move into a nice low lunge. Place your right foot forward in the low lunge and your left foot back. So face the top of your mat, right foot forward, left foot back. Lower your left knee down to the mat. Work your hands up to your front thigh. And as you do that, try to get taller. The hips want to sink down and make you actually shorter to the mat. I want you to find a little bit of strength, some lift in the legs, which can then transfer to length from the hips to the shoulders. Lift the arms up to the sky. Get all of this length and stretch, and then move the hips down and forward. I think those actions also make it more doable to add in the quad stretch, left heel towards your seat. Circle right hand back to catch your foot. Pull the heel in towards the seat and bend the elbow as much as works. Nice lengthening stretch for quad hip flexor here on the left leg. And then slow release of your back foot. Let's go all the way back, arms up to the sky, long length through the torso, with hips a bit down and forward. Lower the hands down either side of the front foot. Step it backwards to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet a moment. And step your left foot forward to your long, low lunge. Place the back knee down to the mat, hands to the thighs, and wherever we are, we need to back up and out of the pose a little bit. Get stronger in the hips, longer in the torso. Reach, reach, reach. Keep all the height that you have, and then send the hips a little bit down and forward. Can you stay with that and pull the right heel in towards your seat? I'm going to lower the right hand to the inside of my foot so that I can reach back and hold on. Left hand to the right foot, twisted monkey. You can kind of fiddle with it, don't worry about it. Find your way. And let's move out of the pose. This time, step back to plank position. Your plank, toes or knees, straight arms, look a little ahead of the hands. As always, squeeze the glutes, lengthen the tailbone, tone the belly. Don't skip this. Make it a full, complete, nourishing pose. If not already, lower your knees down. And then shift your right knee behind your right wrist, your heel closer to the left hip, and walk the left leg back, back, back until it's closer, easier. Come down to the forearms here and pigeon prep. We call this pigeon prep or sleeping pigeon because we're working into the lower half of the pose, the hip opening portion of the pose. The Sanskrit here, Ekapada Rajakapapatasana. It's king pigeon pose. That sense of royalty, walk the hands back in and lift the torso upright. Present yourself fully upright. So it's the hip opening work and we get a quad stretch, back heel again in towards your seat, and we get a back bend. If you can with me today, try this. Heel into your seat, and I know that can be tough. Do all that you can in your power and lift your arms up to the sky. Bend at your elbows as if your entire upper body is arching back for your hands to find hold of your foot. Imagine the two coming together. And then release, go back to your sleeping pose. Take a breath in, a complete exhale out. Walk the back knee in until you can switch to all fours. Remember, we started in plank pose. Walk the feet out, knees off of the ground, back to your high plank pose. That strength and courage, along with the softening and opening so presently needed, the balance for this pose that comes next. So we go knees down, left knee towards the left wrist, heel towards the right hip. Settle into the foundation of the pose first. Go to your sleeping or pigeon prep, down on the forearms. And you all know that I teach progressively. You can choose any stage of the pose to stay, to play, or to advance. For those coming along, walk the fingertips up, and I'm pushing down through the back knee so that I don't feel as though I'm grounded so much into the mat, but now more of a lifted sensation. And from that lift, try to pull the right heel in and lift the arms up. Bend at the elbows as if the hands are catching hold of the foot. I just keep it playful, laughable. I mean, those things are never coming together in my body, but the benefits of the work and the practice are the same as if I were holding onto my foot. And release. Everyone take your time. Downward facing dog. Couple of good solid exhale breaths out through the mouth here. That soft whisper behind the exhale. And again, forward to plank. Knees, chest, and chin, our little grasshopper pose. Toes, knees, hands, and then place the chest and chin, but keep your butt lifted into the air. 8-point pose. Glide into cobra, so belly, thighs down, and then lift up, chest up, belly up. Hug the elbows into your side, press down through your hands and feet. Cobras, Bhujangasana, shoulder pose. Change to child's pose, push back, give yourself a moment. And then we transition to lie down onto your back. So you're gonna flip all the way around. Come down, soles of the feet on your mat, lie down onto your back. Nice work, we've got just a little bit more. Keep the momentum of the practice. Take the hands to brush close to the heels. Bridge pose, press down into your feet, shoulders, head, lift your hips up. As you lift your hips up, big squeeze in the glutes. And can you lift the front anterior hip points even higher towards the sky there? Hold the edges of your mat or interlace the hands underneath you like we've done a few times in practice already. Push down, down, down through the feet to make everything else lift up. You've got this. Okay, that's it. Next exhale, lower the hips down. Stretch the legs straight up to the sky. Lift the feet up to the sky. Take your pick. Sit on your hands. That's going to be most supportive there. A little more challenging. Take the hands behind your head. More so than that, lift the head and shoulders up off of your mat. Ready for our leg lifts? Lower the legs maybe halfway towards your yoga mat. Keep the mid to low back strong and pushing down to the mat. And then lift the legs back up. Glue the inner edges of your feet together. To make this more doable, knees can be bent or shorten the range. To make it more difficult, we've got that lift of the head and shoulders up, and you make your range wider, longer, fuller. Go at your pace, your rate here. Leg lifts about 20 more seconds. Do this in a way that is sustaining, nourishing, always in our practice. One more. And then bend the knees, fold it all into the chest. Give yourself an embrace. Can you feel your breath pressing into the legs there? So good. Okay, I want to rock up to all fours. So I'm going to take a big rock here to come up to seated. I'm going to cross and flip over to all fours. You'll remember this from the beginning. Lift the right leg up and back, point out to the toes, and give me 5 lifts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And take your right knee to the outside of the left knee. So this little pretzel-y crisscross behind your legs. Can you squeeze your heels in towards each other? Shin against shin, calf against calf. And then you sit back, 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 back. And you've got this balancing lift like we did in that king pigeon pose. Lift the arms up to the sky. For this variation, I want you to hold on to each elbow. Bend at your elbow, hold on to each of your elbows. Try to point the elbows straight up to the sky as you do so. So a version of cow face pose. Another sign of royalty and fullness in our yoga tradition. Come all the way forward. Unwrap your legs. Lift the left leg up and back. Point out to the toes. Lift from your inner thigh and give it 5 pulses. Higher, higher, higher. 3, 2, and 1. And then cross the knee to the outside. Again, often you'd see this pose with the heels apart and sitting on the floor in between the legs. For today's version, we're squeezing the lower legs as close as they can come against one another and trying to sit back. Sort of one version of a calf smashers. Sometimes when we're doing bigger fascia release work, we're very purposely sitting back on the calf here, and it's giving you a little bit of that. Can the arms go up to the sky, holding strong in the abdomen? So we've got balance work, core work. Bend at the elbows, hold on. Big shoulder, back opener here. So many things. And then release it all out. Find your way back around to all fours. Stretch to downward facing dog. From down dog, we're going to up dog. In up dog, the same things that are on the floor now are the parts of your body that are on the floor. Your hands, but instead of the bottom of your feet, it's the top of your feet, but nothing else. Lift your heels up to the sky as you kind of roll into the back like cat pose. When you come to a point that your feet can sustain you, flip to the front of the feet. It's a lot of ask. You got to push down through the hands so that you don't have too much weight there. And then start to send your hips down and forward, but the legs never come to the ground. You're still held on just hands and feet here. Look forward, even look up. Squeeze your glutes like mad, and then lift back out of the position until you can safely roll over your feet to downward facing dog. Up dog, down dog. Close in name for a reason. There's a lot that's similar in those two poses. Stay here, downward facing dog. Work with your breath. Coming into an arm balance here. It's side plank. Balance on your right hand, the outer edge of your right foot. Stages here. Step the left foot forward, left arm up to the sky. As with all stages, you stay and work there, or you decide to challenge to the next one. Stack the feet. Good there. Can you pull the left knee in towards your chest, left hand to grab hold of your left foot and extend the leg back up towards the sky. And then everyone go back to their downward facing dog. All of these versions are also open to us on the forearm rather than the hand. Should that be better for you based on your wrist, elbow, shoulder joint? We go second side, left hand, outer edge of the left foot, step the right foot forward, take the right arm up to the sky. Stay and work there, stack the feet. Stay and work there, or pull the right knee in. Nice version, hold on to the right knee with the right hand, getting you a little more lift, but with connection. From your full side plank, go back to downward facing dog. Give yourself a break on those hands. Come down to the knees. Now knees together, feet a little bit apart. Smooth in the quads and in the calves so that you can sit and nuzzle right in between the feet. You can sit up on a block or some height, or just pull your heels together and sit on your heels if that's best for you. In hero position, we're gonna think tall. We're pushing down through the legs, through the feet, but we're also rebounding and lifting up and feeling some sense of lightness in the torso. So we've been going there all day. Walk the hands back behind you. Like bridge lift in the chest. If this is still working for you, as evenly as you can, and I have to bring my knees a little bit wider to make this doable, as long as the heels are still locked in close to the side of the waist, it's gonna work. Go down to the forearms. And that key is evenly moving down, moving out of the pose. If you find pain, don't do it. And then as evenly as you can, we're climbing back up. I like to come forward to all fours and stretch out the legs behind me here. Tremulous pose is next. It's a little like Bakasana, and you could certainly practice your crane or crow pose if this is not in the cards for you. But here's tremulous pose. I think it's fun no matter what. It's that calf smash, right calf, right shin over your left calf. Like saw it out a little bit. And then it stays with you and you sit back. Take the hands right at the knees or right in front of the knees. Okay, like an up dog, can we push through the front of our feet, but get the rest of our legs off of the ground? So press down through the hands and down in the feet. Round your back, that's the cat pose. This is tremulous. Tremulous also with the feet off of the ground. That's not in the cards. I haven't been doing that lately, but you do your best. Woo. And then we all fall out of the pose and come back to all fours. Do some pieces of this pie. It's left shin on top of the right calf. And this is so much good work, just sort of sawing up and down, back and forth. Good release in those calves. And you might stay and do this for a little longer. Second option is sitting back and you feel that shin right on the calf. Oof, that's good work. Hands like you are in dog pose, so flat against the ground, either side of your knees. Okay, this time around, can you glue your butt to your heels to your butt, and then like everything is one unit, you're trying to lift off of the ground. Try it a couple of times. And then work it out. Back to all fours, downward facing dog. I gotta just shake my head out here and let that one go. Maybe you're in the same boat. Next time, a reminder. If I want that pose, it has to stay consistent in my practice. That's all that it means. Downward facing dog. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Look to your hands. Step or jump to the very front end of your yoga mat. Half lift, extend from your hips out to the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold. Stand all the way up, reach your arms to the sky. Bring palms together, center of the chest. Inhale, lift the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Nourish with the sun salutation here. Step back to plank. Lower to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Go back to downward facing dog. Little add-on here. Step your right foot forward into your low lunge. This is going to be funky, okay? Just warning us. Step your left foot close to your right. As you do that, I want you to hold first two fingers and thumb around your right big toe. We're trying to create that closed chain connection, hand to foot. And now you're balancing and trying to stand up on the left leg. Stand up, holding onto your right leg. Stretch the legs straight out to your front, maybe out to the side. You've done it. Back to the front, rebend the knee. Keep holding on the whole time, so we're using balance, control, strength to set the foot back down to the mat. Step back again to plank position and into downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Step it all the way forward. Now, left, first two fingers and thumb, wrap around the big toe. You've closed that chain, step your back foot in. With your right foot on the ground, right hand to the waist, you keep the closed chain, hand onto your foot, and stand up. Stretch the legs straight out. To the front, to the side. Back to the front. Keep holding on to it if possible. All the way back down. One more time, step back to plank. Downward facing dog. Lower the knees, do child's pose. Change to sit on your bum and stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Pull your right foot in like you're in tree pose against your inner left thigh. Point the knee out to the side. Sit up and then fold length of your torso over your extended leg. Hold on to the ground or around your left foot. Try to create a little more length on your exhale breaths. See how that feeds your pose. Lift your torso back up. Switch sides, extend your right leg out, pull the left foot in to the center of the thigh, sit up nice and tall. Use the extension and fold over. Let the hands go again to the floor or hold on to your foot. It's all up to you. Allow yourself, your body, your mind to know that we are cooling down. Less effort here in these poses, just what's coming to you. That is the full nourishing of the practice. Okay, come back up. Last seated position here. Stretch both legs straight out. And then one more time, fold over. Stay in the seated forward fold. Yogis, no rush here, but in your own time, come out of the seated forward fold. Make your way to lie down onto your mat. Pull the knees into the chest. Take any last movements here that you'd like. Supine twist. Maybe it's happy baby. Maybe you have a safe form of shoulder stand. Give yourself a minute or so, just kind of unwinding. Last movement. We're all unique. So what nourishes you will be different than me, though surely with a lot of underlying sameness. And then do find your stillness. Whether it's giving yourself, challenging yourself, do be still for 2 minutes. The mind gets extra busy as the physical body gets still. Give it something to pay attention to. Your breath, your mantra, your intention. Stay there. Stay still. Take your time now to move and reawaken a little bit through breath, body, and come up to a seated position if not already. And inviting the seat, a last turn of palms together, thumbs to the sternum. An intention that says, thank you for nourishing yourself through this time for practice on your mat, gathered virtually with one another, gathered with the teachings. Take it into your day. Let's close in the sound of Om, sing along, listen, tune it out. Empty out the breath. Deep breath in. I bow in deep honor to each of you. Thank you. Namaste. Good to have everybody for practice. If you want to stick around and give me some ideas about what you want to see in April, please do.
Thank you, Betsy. That was awesome. I'm so sweaty. I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, probably some of the humidity